My name is Francis Britt Jr. That's Francis Britt, Britt Jr. I was born and raised in Evansville. My mother and father had two drugstores. One was at 965 Washington Avenue, which was right off of Kentucky Avenue, which was Highway 41 at the time. What was amazing, our drugstore on Washington Avenue was several miles from the river, and we had 6 foot of water inside the drugstore. The water backed up through the sewers. We had no way of shutting the sewers off at that time. Of course, now with the levee and the shut off for the sewers, they can pump the water back over the levee now. So we'll never have a big flood like the 37 flood.
Can you talk to me a little bit about, I guess, first of all, what the weather was like leading up to the flood, just the amount of rain and that sort of thing?
We had a lot of rain. When the water was at the highest, I think it was January the 31st, 1937.
Now, you were coming off a pretty big drought the year before, is that right? The summer of 36?
I think so.
Okay. Can you talk a little bit about how, once the flood happened, how it affected the city?
The city was closed down for several weeks, probably close to a month. The downtown area was flooded. No stores were open. There was a few drugstores, a few grocery stores open, but they ran out of supplies rather quickly, especially the grocery stores. Of course, back in those days, we didn't have any big supermarkets. We had neighborhood grocery stores and neighborhood drugstores.
Now, you ran one of those neighborhood drugstores. Can you talk a little bit about how it affected your dad's store?
Well, the one on Washington Avenue, we had 6 feet of water in the store, and we had 8 foot solid walnut showcases with plywood backs on them. So all I had to do is clean off the mud and stuff from the cases and put new plywood backs on the cases. It had a tile floor, and the soda fountain was tile, so it was all salvaged. The only thing we had to have cleaned and rebuilt was a soda fountain motor and a carbonator motor for the carbonated water for the soda fountain, and the cash register had to be cleaned professionally. All the rest of the cleaning fell on my hands.
Did you close the store down during the flood?
The one on Washington Avenue was closed for 3 to 4 weeks. The one on Fulton Avenue, which was only 2 blocks from the river, the water was just across the street. We had that store open all the time, 24 hours a day.
Were you pretty busy there, I would guess?
It was always busy. It was headquarters for the Naval Reserve from out of town. They were headquarters in our store. So there was people in there all the time, in and out.
Did you have trouble getting supplies in and out of the city at that point, or was it, did they have that handled pretty well?
We handled it pretty well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you remember there being any kind of, I mean, other than obviously shut the city down, but, disease issues with the amount of water in the streets, anything like that happened in this area?
No.
Okay. So again, it was shut down for a long time. The peak of the water was a certain point. Talk about how it affected you. You were in high school. How did it affect that aspect of your life?
Well, Bossy High School was on East Washington Avenue, about 4 blocks from Kentucky Avenue, and it had water in the auditorium, so the seats had to be replaced and cleaned out. But no schools were in session all during the flood.
So how long were you out of school? About 3 weeks, 4 weeks?
3 to 4 weeks.
Okay. Anything else about how the flood affected the city in terms of, I mean, how did residents, what were some of the struggles that people had to go through to get through that month-long period?
Well, it hit the people on the far east side, south of Riverside, that area, Pollock, Riverside, Kentucky Avenue. Water was up to the roof, to the roofs on the houses there. So a lot of those had to be torn down after the flood and rebuilt.
Where did those people go during the flood? Because obviously you can't live in a house with water up to the roof.
The Red Cross and the Salvation Army set up quarters for the people that didn't have any place to go.
Is there anything else you can think of that you want to say that I haven't thought to ask you?
Well, what strikes me is the difference of the elevation between the east side and the west side. 965 Washington Avenue, where our drugstore was several miles from the river. And like I said, the sewers backed up. That caused all the flooding. And the one on Fulton Avenue was just 2 blocks from the river, and it was high and dry.
That is strange.
It is.
Yeah. So did the west side just in general not get hit nearly as badly?
West Franklin Street had several feet of water in the streets.
Okay. So it's just all about that elevation then?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else you want to add?
It was quite an experience to go through.
Hope you never have to do it again, huh?
Oh, yes.
All right. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you.